When I do research, I come across some really crazy things. Things that, once I read them, keep spinning in my mind. And the more I think about them, the more I get lost in thought. If you watch today's video till the end, I'm sure you'll be thinking about it for the next week, because I'm going to talk about two urban legends that I don't think anyone has ever told you about. Neither of these urban legends involves ghosts, so you can watch comfortably. And please don't miss the ending of this video. I just need 10 minutes of your time. Pay close attention to every detail. A long time ago, I read something that made my heart skip a beat, and I thought, wow, what a story. This story started gaining popularity in the United States over the past decade, but no one knows who originally wrote it. In fact, was it even just a story? Or was it reality? That's for you to decide after listening to it. This urban legend is called The Licked Hand, and it's about a very young girl whose parents have gone out, leaving her home alone for the first time in her life, with just her dog for company. Now, this girl's house was quite big. She belonged to a wealthy family. Her best friend was her dog, and she spent most of her time playing with it. Even when she wasn't playing, whether she was studying or eating, her dog would always stay close to her. One day, her parents leave for another city for work, meaning she and her dog will be home alone for the first time in their lives. The day goes by just fine, completely normal. But as evening falls, she starts watching TV with her dog and sees a news report about a dangerous criminal roaming in their area, who the police haven't been able to catch. His photo is displayed on the screen, and everyone is warned to be cautious. Watching this on TV, the girl gets scared. Since night is approaching and darkness is creeping in, her fear increases even more. And tonight, she has to spend the night alone with just her dog. After hearing the news, she decides to lock all the doors in the house. But since her house is big, it takes quite some time to secure everything. She locks every door except the basement door, which completely slips her mind. Thinking she has locked everything, she starts to feel safe. But there's still one open door, one she doesn't even realize is open. As usual, she freshens up in the bathroom, eats the dinner her mom had already prepared, and then goes to bed. Her dog lies down beside her on the floor, as always. Around 1 a.m., she suddenly wakes up to a strange noise but can't figure out where it came from. She tries to go back to sleep, but then hears the sound of dripping water from the bathroom. She's too scared to get out of bed and go check the tap. To comfort herself, she extends her hand down toward her dog. Her dog licks her hand, making her feel safe and relaxed. If any of you have a pet, you'll understand how valuable this moment was. Even though the dog didn't actually do anything, just its presence made her feel protected. As the dog continues licking her hand, she starts to calm down and eventually falls back asleep. But when she wakes up the next morning, her dog is nowhere to be found. Thinking it must be wandering around the house, she decides to freshen up first and look for it afterward. However, the moment she opens the bathroom door, she freezes in terror. Hanging from the ceiling is her dog, lifeless, its skin horrifyingly peeled off. And remember the dripping sound she heard the night before. It wasn't water. It was her dog's blood, slowly dripping down from above. But the story doesn't end there. On one of the bathroom walls, written in the dog's blood, was a chilling message: humans can lick too. Do you understand what that means? It means that her dog had been killed long before she woke up in the middle of the night. The person who did it had been hiding under her bed the whole time. The thing she thought was her dog licking her hand, that was the killer. This urban legend, the licked hand, has haunted people for years. Now, here's a question for you. Leave your answer in the comments. What if the girl had realized that it wasn't her dog under the bed, but a killer? I personally think it was better that she didn't know, because if she had, then maybe the same thing that happened to her dog would have happened to her too. Today's second urban legend is one that became quite famous in both the United States and Australia. It's eerie, bizarre, and strangely amusing at the same time. Let's dive into it. There's a small town on the western coast of Australia, not too far from Sydney. Despite having everything a tourist could ask for, stunning beaches, lush forests, and a peaceful atmosphere, very few people visited. Sydney, being the major attraction, pulled all the attention, leaving this town almost forgotten. The government, however, had a plan. To boost tourism, they decided to improve the town's transportation system by running a railway line right through the middle of it. This railway would connect the town with major cities, making it easily accessible. The plan worked. Within a few years, tourism flourished, businesses thrived, and more people started moving in. Everything was going perfectly, except for one peculiar phenomenon that no one could explain. The town's population began to rise at an unusually rapid rate. But it wasn't just new residents or tourists settling in. The number of children in the town was increasing at an alarming pace. Schools were overcrowded, playgrounds were packed, and new schools had to be built to accommodate all the kids. It was as if the town had suddenly become a factory for babies. The government took notice and sent officials to investigate what was happening. The findings were unexpected. The investigators discovered a strange pattern. The town's population boom directly correlated with the arrival of a particular train that passed through every morning. This wasn't an ordinary train. It was an old, loud, screeching beast that rattled. Its noise was so intense that it woke up the entire town at an awkward hour. Too early to start the day, yet too late to go back to sleep. And what do couples do when they're awake with nothing else to do? Well, let's just say, nature took its course. Within months, birth rates skyrocketed. The town, once quiet and overlooked, was now bustling with families, children, and an ever-growing population, all thanks to one noisy train. What started as a government initiative to boost tourism ended up creating an unexpected baby boom. So the next time you hear about a town mysteriously growing in numbers overnight, maybe it's not just a coincidence. Maybe, just maybe, there's a train involved. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Fear Foundry for more chilling and bizarre tales.